All right, welcome back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Show. Joining me tonight is Jeff Miller filling in for Jeran Cox once again, and Christian Spradlin on the other side of the desk there. We've got a really good show tonight lined up. We've got Yunioto baseball coach Tony Taylor coming in here in a few minutes. Some of his players will join us as well as Huntington softball coach Brian Smith, Piketon softball coach Mark Blakeman, and I believe Coach Ruby from Wheelersburg softball calling in. So talking about softball there a lot of people coming in with that. The tournament drawing was this week, Jeff, and a lot of teams spread out now that they've went D7 in this area. Chillicothe getting the 1 seed in Division III. Jackson, I believe, the 3 seed. Unioto the 4, and Miami Trace the 5, Division III. So, what are kind of your thoughts on that?
Like you said, I think when they went to 7 divisions, it does spread things out. It gives a lot of teams the opportunity to make deeper runs. I think a lot of the SVC schools fall into that D5 bracket where they may have to battle it out with each other, but it looks like there's some teams that have a good path to make deep tournament runs.
Yeah, one of them that kind of stands out to me was we mentioned that Division III draw there with all those teams, and one team that was missing was Hillsborough. They've dropped to Division IV, and they're the 1 seed. That's a team that I know Unioto's played a couple times the last few years in what used to be the D2 tournament. A really good program. So for those girls to get a 1 seed in Division IV should be beneficial to them, I think.
Yeah, you think about that FAC with Chillicothe, Jackson, and Hillsborough. They've been tested in the league. They've got an excellent pitcher, and like you said, they kind of stay away from those other 2 teams in the FAC once it gets to tournament time. So
right, and then as you kind of alluded to earlier, the Division V bracket is, man, it's tough. You got Wheelersburg, obviously the 1 seed, deservedly so. Year in and year out, they find themselves usually on that top line. Some of the SVC teams, you got Piketon at the 4 seed. An 18-win team to be a 4 seed is kind of crazy in my mind. Huntington the 10, St. Trace 15, Westfall an 8, Southeastern 11, Adena 7. So those teams will probably run into each other if they all keep winning, which is tough for the conference. But Wheelersburg the 1, I believe Wellston was the 2.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
So. Anyway, there's kind of the brief rundown on the softball tournament draw. The baseball draw will be this weekend, so we'll have an update for that next Tuesday when we're on the show. But right now we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll have Yunioto baseball coach Tony Taylor coming in with us. right, welcome back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Show. Joining us now is baseball coach from Yunioto, Tony Taylor. Sherman's come in at 13-6, 11-0 in the conference. Coach, big win last night over Westfall. Walk-off single in the bottom of the seventh, 3-2 baseball game. Kind of talk to us about that game.
It was huge. They jumped on us 2-0, and give Blake credit for not folding the 10 in and quitting. And he pitched on through it, got us through 5 innings. And KB came in and held him down, and then we scored in the bottom to get the 3-2 victory. Walk off by Callaway.
So 2-0. Did those happen over the course of those 5 innings, or 2 runs in the first? I mean, how did that happen?
We came back one. It was 2-1, and I think maybe in the fourth we tied it up 2-2, and then we scored in the bottom 7th. Yeah.
So, I mean, I've seen several of your games this year, and I don't remember so far this season. I mean, I'm probably wrong, but I don't really feel like you guys have had a game like that yet in the conference, have you? Or
no?
Am I wrong? Okay. Yeah. So a lot of character for your guys to, continue to battle this last week of the season. At home, last home game, I believe you had senior night last night,
Yep.
and to be able to stay in there and get out of there with a 3-2 win. So, kind of just talk about what's got you to this point at 11-0 with this team. I know, the last few years we've Yunioto baseball's had a lot of talent, and these guys are kind of just carrying that on. And I like it because I don't think coming into the season, other than maybe some of your seniors and a couple other players, not a lot of names that people recognize, but the results the same.
Well, it's a credit to the hard work the kids put in. I mean, in the fall, they were over there all the time working out. We had a really great fall because we were going all the way outside in November, and we got a lot of good work and got to look at a lot of young kids that normally don't get to look at till the season. So
right.
you lose out. So that was a big win for us.
Yeah, I feel like obviously during football season, as we would walk back from football practice, there would still be, double-digit kids out there on the baseball. And I would venture to say that we had much nicer weather clear into November than we played baseball in this spring. I mean, that's that's been a huge advantage, I think.
It's crazy how that works. I mean, I referee football, so I don't think we only wore long sleeves a couple times all year long. That's counting 3 or 4 playoff games. So,
it's one of the things, Coach, that Matt mentioned was, you're 11-0 in the league, and coming into the season, I think that probably one of the question marks was just pitching for you guys, and you can just kind of elaborate on that. It seems like you obviously had KB coming back, and then it was kind of some question marks, but it seems like some of these younger kids really stepped up and been crucial on the mound.
Yeah, that's when KB come back, but we didn't know what we were going to get with him coming back, how it was going to work with him. But he started out solid, and then he kind of had a hamstring problem there, and it kind of set him back about a week, and then now he's coming on right now, hopefully at the right time. But then, we got Blake. He's come through huge, which I thought he might be our 3 or 4, but he turned into be our 2. Those 2 guys you got to have 2 guys if you got a chance to win this league, and things got to work your way. And rainouts now is going to be a question mark now because we want back-to-back games, so that could be a problem.
Yeah, that's one thing we talked about couple weeks ago with the Dina's coach is that you get these rainouts, and then all of a sudden you better get you're going to be into your number 3 and 4 pitcher on the mound. When you get into this kind of at the end of the season and rainouts and back-to-back games.
But, going back on that other, like the 3-2 win there, but we lost games earlier in the year. Jackson lost at Athens 3-2. All of those 2 games on walk-offs, we were on the wrong side of that, but you build you know what I mean? You get to be in that situation. And I think you get better the better competition you play.
And no doubt, and especially early in the season, kind of with a lot of question marks, and you guys being able to, play with those programs early. You had to kind of like to see that, and then to see us, get over that hump a little bit in league play. And I'm sure you'd trade a league win for a learning lesson non-league early. I know you would. But
no question.
Talk a little bit about maybe the difference you see in KB from he's always had talent. He's always been a big personality. But just talk about the difference that he has maybe shown once the game was taken away from him coming into his senior year.
I wouldn't say much because he loves baseball, man, and he's always and kids thrive off him. They just everybody gets better around him, and he's just got that air about him that you can't teach it, you can't do anything about it. Just he has it, and they feed off of him, and he makes everybody better.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. I know that, he didn't get to play football, but and I know he missed it, but and he would constantly text me about how much he missed it, but how he was working so hard just to get back to be able to play baseball with his friends and basketball as well. And I just think that, from what I've seen from him, I think that everything means a little bit more to him now since it was taken. I think that, and he's still getting the same results. So that's been really good to see. You hate to see anyone get hurt, but you love to see him be able to bounce back.
And it kind of goes back to the other guys in 2020 that lost the season.
Yeah.
And their attitude changed the next couple of years when they came out because, you sit there and say something to senior, it could be taken away from you. And they're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. But then once you've really seen it, witnessed it, then you'd say, oh, my God, it could have happened that way. Yeah,
I think that, that's changed a lot of kids. And I don't hate, but I hope that the farther we get away from 2020, I hope that kids still realize that, there's kids out there that didn't get their senior year, and it could happen for a number of reasons.
Right.
But, you just, I know we had and when I coached basketball, we had a sign on the door on the way out of the locker room that said, like it's your last. And I just really felt like that saying meant, you never know when something's going to be taken from you, and you just want to really appreciate it. And it's just, like I said, with KB and any other kid that's come back from an injury, it's just really cool to be able to see those guys get back and mean that much more to something that they already loved in the first place. So kind of talk a little bit about what we got coming up the rest of this week. I know 3 games to finish the league and 3 nights.
Yeah, it's tough because Dean and Zane Tracer are supposed to play tonight. They're not playing, so they're saving up pitching. So we got a Dean tomorrow night, so we're going to probably get their best, and then go Thursday with Zane Trace out there, and then Huntington on Friday. So it's 3 tough ones right in a row.
So how will that work with those guys not playing tonight? I know there's been some questions in terms of when you're supposed to play, so if we have 3 games scheduled the rest of this week, will those guys have to go into next week to finish it up on Monday?
Well,
the next available day?
Well, sometimes people do something different outside the big rules.
But that's what you're supposed to do
exactly.
On Monday.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. And you don't have to play it on a Saturday or anything like that?
No, you do not have to lose a Saturday. But Paint Valley and St. Trace are playing this Saturday.
So they chose to do that.
I think maybe, with the tournament coming up, it could be a situation that you choose to play that Saturday game just to get that out of the way and get ready for the tournament, that following week or whatever.
So your tournament draws this weekend. When does the tournament actually start?
22nd. Well, if we didn't have a buying game, I think it's the 22nd.
Okay.
Don't quote.
So you got another week next week of actual regular season.
Yeah, we picked up Jackson. We're going to play them. In Lynchburg, we're going to play them. Picked up 2 games.
That's good.
Two good games there.
Yeah.
Especially, that's a long layoff in baseball.
Yeah.
You got to play, but you got to work. You got to take the time too to get out on the field and fix some things that you need to fix going into the tournament. So that's a good balance of that. Were those games home, away? Where are you guys playing?
Home.
Those? Both home.
Friday, Monday.
That's even better.
Yeah.
So, well. We talked earlier in the year about, your 400th win, and I haven't got to congratulate you in person. I think that's just huge. It just shows without saying you're old, that you put your time in to get that. It's just a huge mark. I think I'm happy to be that I was able to be a part of a little bit of that when you were coaching us back in the day. And, it's just, it's really cool to see good things happen to good people and people to do it the right way. So, I just wanted to congratulate you in person on that, and
thank you.
Just really appreciate everything you've done for Yunioto baseball.
We love the U.
Yeah, You said it before too. There's so many good people there that make it a special place. And I know that's been, goes from players to, parents to administrators to people behind the scenes. I know you mentioned Daddy 100 times. If Dwayne Potter, if he wasn't taking care of that baseball field,
I probably wouldn't be doing it.
I think someone even mentioned today, they said something about we might even get 26 games in this year for baseball, and they're like, without Daddy, we're looking at probably about 18.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
With this weather, there's not even a question.
Right.
I mean, I look out my sixth grade social studies window every day, and I look, and it's 8:15 in the morning, and he's out there, and he's
7:30.
He's getting after it.
Yep.
I mean, you got to have people like that. I mean, I know Steve Hoops that does our equipment for us in football and does everything behind the scenes, takes care of the practice field. All of our coaches have sat in a coaches meeting before, and we said, Steve, when you quit, let us know, because we're not doing this without you. You just can't do it without those people. It's just hard to do. So anyway, appreciate you coming in. Wish you nothing but the best of luck the rest of this way. 3 more league games to finish this thing off the right way and have some success in the tournament.
One more thing is, for 4 years, but was having Keegan back there behind the plate catching, and that's going to be a big change for next year, losing him, because he's been pretty much the general back there for 4 years.
Yeah, that's
if you don't have a catcher, you can't win.
No, that's huge. And speaking of Keegan, we've got KB Perkins and Keegan Snyder joining us next after this quick break. welcome back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Show. Joining us now are seniors KB Perkins and Keegan Snyder. Thanks for coming in, guys. Appreciate you having us. KB, I think you're now the all-time leader in appearances on the Coaches Show with your now third appearance.
Yeah.
So we're going to just go ahead and let you conduct this interview.
Oh, no, I'm good. You guys got it.
What do you mean? I've seen you talk. You talk all the time.
Oh,
Pressure's on now. You can't do it. All right, but thanks for coming in, guys. Obviously, a day off from games this week, and then 3 big ones coming up. Kind of just talk about last night's win and then what lies ahead for you guys this week.
Yeah, last night's win, that was huge. I mean, before the game, I told him, I was like, it's senior night tonight, and I looked at Coach T, and I was like, we're not losing this game. And they came out in the first inning and kind of just smacked us in the face. Started off, they scored 2 runs, and after that, our energy kind of was real down. And I just kept looking at everyone, was like, we got to do something. And I remember Jack Welsh, she's not doing too hot right now at the plate. But I said, whatever it takes to get on base, and then the guys behind you, we got it. So that ended up happening, and we just we played a little bit of small ball at the end of the game, and I think that really did our justice. Toward the beginning of the year, Taylor told us, he was like, small ball, that's going to win us a lot of games this year because we're not going to be hitting it very well a lot of the nights. And I think last night that was probably the biggest factor winning that game.
Yeah, I mean, like, it takes everything. And baseball's a long season. Even the game within the game, it takes a lot. You come out the first inning. I think when you guys played Piketon the other night, you guys came out, scored 4 right away, and then it stayed 4-0 for a long time. Yeah. And then late in the game, your bats woke up again and ended up 10-0. But things like that, especially in the game of baseball, it just it's such a roller coaster of okay, we're hitting 1 inning and now it go 3 innings without hitting. So you just got to really lock in and stay into the game. So for you guys to be able to in a pretty pressure-packed situation. You're talking about senior night. You're 1 game up in the league. You got to have them all. For you guys to kind of answer that was big. So, talk about maybe some of the guys that stepped up that maybe aren't names that a lot of people have heard about and have stepped up this season to win games like that.
Blake Sanders has stepped up pretty big this year. Coming into the season, we didn't think he'd be our 2 pitcher, but he's came in every game he's pitched. He's done very well. Only 1 or 2 runs, and we get behind him. He's got out of big situations. Like last night, Westfall smacked him in the face, and he got through 5 innings after the first inning, didn't give up another run.
As a catcher, Keegan, what's it like having a kid like that has so much potential? I mean, he's just a sophomore. He's coming. I think he's 4-0 now as a sophomore pitcher. What's it like working with him? Maybe as compared to what's it like working with KB, who you've caught for 4 years?
Well, they both have really good control, and they're very similar with their pitching, and I can trust them both. I don't let very many people shake me off when I'm calling pitches, and these 2 I trust to shake me off when they're not feeling something. And working with them has been a pleasure, and I don't have to do much behind the plate because they don't throw anything in the dirt.
Right. I mean, that's huge too. Like obviously, and we've all heard it our whole lives playing baseball. Throw strikes, and if you have guys that can have command and can throw those strikes, it's going to make your job a lot easier. Obviously, makes the fielders, you got the defense behind them, their job easier because they know they got a guy going out there going to throw strikes and not walk a lot of guys, because once that starts happening, and guys' minds wander, and it's tough to deal with. So last night, Westfall, tomorrow, Adena. What are you guys? What's your approach going to Adena? Not really going to Adena because you have to go to Ross County Park where they're playing their home game. What's your guys' kind of mindset going into that game?
Yeah, I think our biggest approach is, I think we'll face Miguel again, and I think it might get into a situation where last time we started off real hot, but our team's kind of weird because last year, I mean, we would hit the whole game, but this year, say, like for instance, like Piketon, we started off in the first inning and we scored 4 runs, and the whole game we didn't score another run. So I think definitely going to be small ball again tomorrow night, and I think the biggest thing is just keeping the goal ball in mind. It don't matter who we play or where we play. We just need to have our minds right, and we'll be all right.
when you talk about your team makeup, what do you think? Do you think it's just, and you can't blame it on inexperience now because you guys are 19 games into the season, so you guys have played 19 games together. What do you think maybe is contributes to maybe some of that inconsistency? Or you don't know?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just a game.
It's like this baseball.
It's just
and
a game.
sometimes people aren't hot, and sometimes they are.
Yeah, and you just got to catch it at the right time, maybe.
You know, the one thing I wanted to ask you guys is, obviously coming into this season, you do have a lot of new faces. You know, kids that haven't played a lot of varsity baseball up until this year. So as two players yourselves that have played a lot of varsity baseball, what is it that you guys have been able to do to kind of like help some of those kids this year through the season? You know, because obviously young kids and first year varsity players, you're going to have ups and downs. And what are some of the things you guys have done to kind of help them when they are down, you know what I mean, or when they're up, or you know, what kind of leadership things have you guys helped out with those guys?
Well, for example, when Blake's pitching, you know, we have Jackson on short and me and KB on first, talking him through things. And, you know, when he's down in a count, you know, we just say go right at him. And I'm pretty sure that helps Blake a lot when he gets down in positions when he's pitching.
Go ahead.
The biggest thing with that is I just feel like the younger dudes coming in, I think a lot of the Sunday practices really help a lot. You know, just having a day off, because throughout the week during league play, we just play bang, 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 like back to back. So I think, like the other night, we had a Sunday practice at 1 o'clock, and I think that practice just gives us time to just kind of just tweak a few things in the game. Like, for instance, like I was long tossing, and maybe some kids weren't seeing a curveball well that night, and we got the pitching machine out and worked on lefty curveballs and got ready for Westfall. So I think it's just with baseball, it's just a confidence thing.
Yeah, I agree. When you guys talk about, you know, the younger guys, how do they, like, what's it like in the dugout with those guys? Like, are they asking questions? Because, you know, it's not like these guys have never played baseball before. Like all those guys that, just because they haven't played varsity baseball, they've all played baseball. So I feel like it's a little bit different in terms of like, compare it to a football locker room where someone hasn't played Friday night football. But, you know, baseball, I feel like, is baseball, you know. And what's just kind of like, what's it like in the dugout compared to maybe like some other locker rooms that you've been in?
Yeah, so in our dugout, it's very hectic. I think there's a lot of just, I think the biggest thing with our team is just our chemistry. Like, say one dude having at bat and pop it straight up, and I think our team, we're like kind of making fun of them, but at the same time, it's like we all love each other. And I think that's just the greatest thing with this team is just, but compared to other dugouts, it might be like, hey man, like you suck, like whatever. But with our team, like when we're picking on each other, it's all for fun. And I think that just with the game of baseball, when you're having a bad time, you need that one teammate to just make you smile. And mine is 100% Caden Cut, right?
Well, going to Caden, I mean, I think he said one of the reasons he played this whole year was to just, I don't know if it was to make you smile or make you mad. I think it was
Probably
a combination of
both.
But, I mean, I can just tell you that, like, the times that he's not in the game and he's on the fence, sometimes I don't know how you focus through the things that Caden's saying or doing.
Yeah, that's probably one of the toughest sayings. Like our saying is later meet, and we'll be warming up and say, for instance, I'm down in the bullpen and I'll look over at our pitching coach Lump and I'll be like, is Caden really saying that already in warm-ups? And I remember we go over to Piketon and I'm warming up and we're taking
what time were you warming at, like 2:45?
I was over there early. Yeah.
1:30.
I was over there real early, and we're warming up in the field, and I hear later meet from all of us when they were taking infield, and we get in the infield, and I just heard Piketon's dugout just start screaming, and I looked at Lump, I was like, here we go. And Caden 100% started that. And that's just the type of kid he is. Like, him being so successful in other sports and then stepping into baseball and not really being like the man, I think that just shows what kind of character he is.
Yeah, for sure. Like, well, that saying, I know where it comes from now, but I had to ask because Blake and I went golfing a couple weekends ago, and he walks up to the tee box on the first shot, and you know, when you're teeing off in golf, you know, you're just concentrating. He gets up there, later meet, and he hits his tee shot, and I'm like, what'd you just say? And he's like, Yeah, everyone's saying that now, Dad. Have you heard the baseball team yet? So I knew where it came from after that. But anyway, so you guys are your sayings are school wide. I even heard the softball girls saying it the other night too.
Oh, everyone's saying it.
Yeah.
Heck,
so-
that's my senior quote right now. Way to be.
Did you turn it in though? Is the question. Have you turned it in?
Yeah.
He's gonna finish that up tonight.
So what you're saying is we got to get you out of here so you can finish your English project.
Yeah.
Hey, the one thing I do want to touch on is we're trying to rush you guys out of Yunioto. Obviously, want you to make a long tournament run and stuff. But thinking about next year, you guys, if I'm correct, you guys are both going to Findlay, right? What's your thoughts on that as far as going together, pitcher catcher? Me both going to college. Was that something you guys had planned? Is it something that just kind of worked out that way, or give us little details on that?
I mean, when we first started playing together, I mean, that idea came to mind. It was like 8th grade or something like that. But, we've played on the same team in baseball for the last 4 years, spring and summer, and the coach happened to see us both, and it just happened to all fall in place.
I know, as a pitcher, it's always nice to you have the that relationship with your catcher. I mean, it's important. So I know KB, probably for you, just to be able to go and feel comfortable with who that catcher is. They know you know them. I mean, it's got to make it a little bit more relaxing going into that next the college level.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. I mean, going to play college with your catcher is it's really rare.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like going 2.5 hours away from your house and being with your catcher. It's kind of just it makes me more comfortable knowing that I'll have him down there with me, and we've already been through many ups and downs. And say we get down there and we go through something hard, I know he'll have my back.
Right.
Well, guys, we appreciate you coming in. Obviously, big 3 days ahead of us. One game at a time. Mindset. Wish you nothing but the best. Not only finish out your high school career, but as you guys go on to college as well. So, again, appreciate you coming in here. We're going to get you out of here so KB has time to go get his English project done.
He ain't going to do it.
And look forward to hearing what you get on that, KB.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back right after this quick break. Thank you. welcome back. We're now joined by Huntington softball coach Brian Smith. Coach, thanks for being here. Taking time off on your night off, which is very rare in terms of any type of spring sports. So, yeah, appreciate you being here.
We thank you guys for having us.
So you guys, tournament draw was last weekend. You guys got the 10 seed, if I'm correct?
That's correct.
Who do you guys play? And
We play Zane Trace.
Okay.
Obviously, we host. We get past them. We will probably play Ireton. We've seen a lot of film on them. Going to scout them Thursday. So we like where our chances are. We're starting to. We won 5-9. Starting to. I mean, we scored 10 runs a game. Starting to get the pitching figured out a little bit with Gracie Slaughter and Leah McCloskey back healthy with us. So the process is working.
yeah, that's huge. And you always talk about playing your best and gaining some momentum going into the tournament. And Lady Huntsman coming in with the 10 seed and get to host a first playoff game, or a tournament game, which is always nice to be able to play at home. So kind of talk about that and what you guys have coming up the rest of this week.
We have Southeastern tomorrow, which will be cancer awareness, so both teams will be wearing pink. We want to do something there. Coach Skaggs and I, excuse me. Friday we were Yunioto at home. They're pretty hot right now as well. And then we go down to Ripley Saturday for a doubleheader.
Okay. So you guys, it seems like, are still on schedule in terms of you don't have any makeup games in terms of league games left, or
Correct.
just 2 left. So
Just 2 left. We are caught up and then good to go. So
What day is your tournament game, Brian?
it'll be Tuesday. What is that? The 12th, 13th. I'm
Next
sorry.
Tuesday then?
Correct. It'll be
A week
Tuesday.
from tonight.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So, you mentioned you guys are starting to hit the ball. I mean, you hit the ball all season, but getting a little bit more consistent. What do you think has kind of allowed you guys to win 5 of your last 9 games heading down the stretch here?
Well, obviously, we talked about we average 10 runs a game, but putting it together defensively. Again, we're having 2 pitchers now that we can throw that's starting to help us hitting locations, throwing off speed. That's been a key for us. Kids buying into the team.
Mm-hmm.
The team over me, I think, has been huge. And just enjoying the game. And I said, listen, just play for each other, enjoy the game, and I think good things will happen.
Right. Do you guys typically, and I know in softball a lot of times you'll just, one pitcher carries it, the whole game usually, and the whole week. In fact, for that matter, the whole season. But so you mentioned a couple different names there. Kind of mentioned how you use those girls, and do one of them usually start, the other one finish, or vice versa? How's that kind of work with you guys?
Well, here recently, we started out with Gracie Slaughter, a junior, pitched JV for us the last couple of years. She's normally been starting for us. We try to get through that lineup one time, or what we're seeing as the game goes on. And then we go to Leah McCloskey, a different kind of pitcher, throws different pitches, so we're seeing different speeds. And the girls throw different pitches, so it's a nice different look, because we don't want to go through the lineup 2 or 3 times with the same pitcher, because we're not dominant in that aspect.
Right. So in terms of softball, like if you have a bona fide number 1 ace, you could trust that girl to go the distance, which is what a lot of teams try to do.
Sure.
I think that your approach to it is, I think that's a smart way. I mean, anytime you can change up the batter's eye in terms of what they're seeing, that's got to be a benefit to the pitcher and the defense. So I think I think that's huge that you're able to have 2 of those that you can trust.
Yes, and we do have another freshman pitcher in Gracie Paul that'll throw an inning here or there, and again, it's a different pitch, different speed for us. So that's been huge. And again, one thing we've done really well, we have Allie Baker batting over 500, Savannah Bouchaz batting over 500, just had her 150th career hit. Taylor Tisdale as well, hitting over 500. I think in total we're batting almost 400 as a team. We have 9 players over 300.
Jeez.
So we're hitting the ball well, just understanding defensively, not letting one error dictate and determine that game with momentum, as you talked about before. So hitting the ball well, we do manufacture some runs, so that helps us.
Well, if you can manufacture some runs and you feel like, you're never out of the game. I mean, if you like you said, your team is hitting over 400 or whatever, and with that in mind, you're just one big inning away from you can be down 3-4 runs, but you're just one inning away from being right back in the mix.
And you talk about your team hitting, and I know we're going to talk to Coach Blakeman here later on. What have you guys have played Piketon twice, obviously?
We did.
Like, what's that like with so many bats? With you guys having so many great hitters and them having what was the score like? 18-15 or something.
So well, here's the thing. It was 12-1 the other night we played them. We played them on senior night, and the difference in the game really was we hit it right at them, and they
That's
made
the thing,
unbelievable defensive plays. And,
Yeah.
Their center fielder, Reese Shanks, catches everything out there. They were hitting the holes, and we hit it right at them. And credit to them, understand that defensively, but they hit the gaps we did not.
Yeah.
And everybody hit. I don't think there was 4 or 5 strikeouts between the
That's
two.
what I was going to ask.
Everybody just hitting the ball really, really hard, and they made the plays, hit the gaps, and we hit it right at them. That was the difference in that game. And I understand they're really good with the Heath girl and Forbes being really, really good. One of them is probably Player of the Year, to be honest with you. I don't know which one, but both of them could be.
Yeah. They're a fairly young team, aren't they? Is Piketon fairly?
I
I
think
feel
you're
like
right.
I heard that.
I know
Maybe
they
I'm wrong.
I know they played 3 seniors. They have 5 seniors when they
Yeah.
have their senior night. I know they play 3, but obviously Heath and Forbes being sophomore,
Okay.
Shanks being a sophomore.
I think they got a
everything.
couple freshmen in the lineup
Yeah.
too.
Correct,
I think the
correct.
Beckman girl and the Ricer girl, both freshmen.
I know
So-
that when I
Very
went
good.
and watched them play, I was standing by Michelle Carino, and it was the last inning. I was like, "Oh, this girl's pretty good." It was up to bat, and she's like, "Oh, she's a freshman." I'm like, "Oh man, well they just told me their best player was a sophomore."
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like that they were pretty young, in terms of that. So, well, Coach, obviously, 3 games to finish the regular season. Tournament starts next Tuesday. It's, as you're nearing the end of this, to kind of just talk about, this season and what it's been like with maybe some of your seniors that are going to be leaving. I know they've had a pretty big impact on the softball program at Huntington.
Yeah, and of course last year with our seniors, they won the last sectional because they do no longer do sectionals, so they won that, and that was special. Of course, you got Leah McCloskey, Allie Baker, Kaylee Kendall, Jaden Baker, which has been a JV girl for us, but she's been there, allowing us to have a JV. Got to start on senior night, which was nice for us. Savannah Bouchat's obviously just one of the best hitters in the area in the district. I think last year had 50 hits, which led the Southeast District.
Wow.
So, and just a lot of great kids. I'm going to miss that group. Great kids first and foremost.
It's funny how that works out. The great kids usually are
Yes.
great players also. It's just the way it works. So.
And it's been nice. We have averaged 13 wins, and we're trying to get there. But in the last few years, with really not dominant pitching, and I know that sounds harsh, but that's the reality of it.
Right.
So we've had to do it with defense and hitting the ball, and they've hit the ball really well. So
And with the league you play in. I mean,
Yes.
our league is.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. I think the SVC softball is typically a pretty good, strong conference. I mean, you face a lot of good pitchers, good players. So
It reminds me a lot of like our volleyball conference.
Yes.
Softball and volleyball, I feel like they just, for whatever reason it is, they're just top to bottom. There's no easy wins.
I think you can look at like the seeds that the teams earned. I think most of the SVC is top 10 seeds typically. We don't have those teams that are a 22, 23 seed.
Sure.
It's competitive, very competitive. The parity in the leagues,
And
you
I
look at the standings right now.
I can tell you from doing this show, when you talk to other coaches and they talk about the SVC, it's respected in terms of softball especially. So again, thanks for coming in, Coach. Wish you nothing but the best this next few games and a lot of luck in the tournament. So you hopefully make a good tournament run.
all right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Coach.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Allie Baker and Leah McCloskey. It's been like as the spring has moved along really quickly.
I just been trying to take in like all the moments with the teammates and everyone, just trying to keep playing and play as many games as possible and take all the memories and moments in.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. It's sad but exciting at the same time, you know. When you play with these girls for a long time, you grow relationships with them, so just trying to have fun and win.
Yeah, that's what you should do, and it's just, I just know it's a tough thing to go through because, you know, part of you is excited for your future and what lies ahead. You're done with school finally, but at the same time, you're like, am I really done with it? You know, it's meant so much to both of you. I know that, and it's just you know, a question I like to ask seniors, especially in the springtime, and get their take on kind of how it's been. You guys played last night or no?
Yeah. We did. We played
Yeah.
Piketon last night. So, was Coach mentioned that their senior night, or was it?
Yeah.
That was their senior night. Okay, so it was an away game last night. Who do you guys play tomorrow?
Southeastern.
Southeastern. Home or away?
Away.
Away. Kind of talk a little bit about that game. How did the first game go, and what are you guys expecting tomorrow?
First game, it was like tie game, they were up, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They were up, and then we came back actually by a lot, and ended up winning that game. So hopefully I think our hitting game was just like we started late hitting. We didn't hit till late in the game. So if we can just start hitting earlier, then I think it'll go way better.
Do you think that's like in some of the games that you've lost? Is that Coach has mentioned about your guys' hitting being one of your strengths? Is that something that maybe gets you guys going early, and then your defense picks up confidence if that happens? Whereas maybe if you struggle at the plate, then the defense kind of follows suit. Is that fair to say, or am I totally off?
I definitely think that's part of it because usually if we make a mistake, we get down on ourselves, and that kind of hurts us a little bit. So if we just shake it off and not let it get in our head.
I think it kind of goes back and forth each night. If we're not hitting very well or something, we pick it up in the field, and then vice versa.
And you know, I know Coach Coach mentioned, you know, you do some pitching for the Huntsman, and you know, it's probably one of those things. If your guys' bats are going early and you can put some runs on the board in early innings, it takes a little pressure off whoever's in the circle as well. You know, so I think Coach mentioned that you do some pitching, maybe a couple other girls. So, you know, he did say that one of your strengths is hitting. So it's probably, like you said, if you guys can get out of the gate, get some runs early, it kind of settles everybody down as well.
Yeah, because pitching's not really our strong suit, so that definitely helps us a lot if we get runs on the board.
What's it like kind of doing a pitching by committee? What is that like? Like, do you know going into every game that you're going to pitch, or is there there's a chance I'm going to pitch? How does that work out with you?
Well, before when I was out because I was sick, when I first came back, I wasn't really pitching, but I didn't know if because you never know, sometimes you can have a good pitching night, bad pitching night. So I didn't know if I would go in or not, but I just always stay prepared just in case, because you never know.
No pitching for you.
I don't pitch.
So, Coach mentioned you guys a 10 seed, I believe, in the tournament. Zane Trace for the third time, obviously. What was the record between you guys with Zane Trace during the regular season? Split with them?
We split with them.
Split? Win at home, lose away, or?
We lost away and won. Wait, yeah, we lost.
No, we won. We won away, lost home.
Both close games. Close games.
Well, I was
The
sick the first
game they run rolled us, and then the second game we
Gotcha.
won.
So when you came back, you won.
Yeah.
So that's good then, right? Feel good about going into the tournament now. All right. I know you've been on the show before, and we kind of talked about your teammates and things like that. Kind of give us, and we talked to the baseball players from Yunioto about their dugout. What's it like in your guys' dugout?
Oh, sometimes it can get a little quiet, but we always try to pick each other up after if anything bad happens, and we try to stay real alive in the dugout.
We just have laughs, just joke around a little bit, and if we have fun, we do really good and just play loose. And
one thing I've noticed about softball dugouts in general is I've never heard them quiet. So you said that they're quiet. I've never heard a softball dugout quiet. It's it almost feels like to me when I go to a softball game, I'm at a small party. this dugout's got all these chants going on. You got music. It's like, it's really happening. I mean, like, I enjoy watching softball. Number one, the game goes quick.
Yeah.
Number two, it just seems like everyone is having such a good time, and it's fun to watch, to be honest with you. So I just was kind of wondering if there was is there one person in your dugout that gets all those crazy cheers going?
Who's bringing the energy in the Huntington
who
softball
leads that?
dugout?
I would say Casey Carroll. She brings a lot of energy. Taylor Tisdale, Kaylee Kendall,
Okay.
Tori Smith. Yeah. Those are like
With all the different chants, is that something you guys have to sit down and iron out and remember?
We
just yell stuff
We just
out.
yell random
Oh,
stuff.
man.
We
Okay.
find that gets in their head.
Oh,
Actually, yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah, we just
That's
yell
fine.
random stuff. Most of the
Okay,
time.
so no chants from the lady.
Well,
Hunt.
we chant
We
a
just-
little bit,
Oh.
but
Well, sometimes like ball.
Maybe you guys need to talk to Coach Smith into giving you 10, 15
gotta
minutes.
carve out some minutes in
to get
practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, if you say
I
random
know a
stuff,
lot of
it's funny
chants.
though. You
I know a
know,
lot of chants.
it's
You
not
need-
Try to
funny.
get
Do
them.
you
Okay,
have
so
a
Allie,
favorite,
we're
do you have a
expecting-
favorite chant?
Oh no.
Allie, we're
you-
expecting
Mine
you to start some chants tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's start right now. Let's get your favorite chant going.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that.
The one thing I was going to mention, and coaching basketball in the SVC, it seems like Huntington traditionally has a lot of multi-sport athletes. I mean, look at you guys, and you guys have played 3 sports your entire
Forever.
high school.
Yeah.
So, as Coach was talking about, things are winding down. You're into your last couple games potentially of your entire high school career, and it's not just softball that you guys have played together, but probably volleyball, basketball, softball. I mean, that's a long time of playing a lot of sports with each other. So I'm sure the relationships that you guys have built are extremely tight. I mean, can you just kind of add on to that kind of thing?
I mean, like basketball, her dad was our coach when we were this tall. So, yeah, and we've had a really close group because, we were all pretty athletic and we did really good. So, we've just always stuck close and it's sad.
Probably. I mean, like you said, this tall. I mean, it's not just high school
Basically
you guys
your
have played
whole life.
together. It's
Yeah.
probably third grade you guys started playing together. So, yeah.
And those are and Coach can attest to this. All of the games you've played, those are great. All of the wins you've had, anything that you've accomplished is all great. But it's the off the court, off the field stuff that you guys are gonna look back on and remember and laugh and really enjoy. And you should really, obviously, I know that I'm sure that you understand how important all that stuff is. And those are the times that you're going to look back and, you're going to miss the games and stuff, and you're going to miss the all that other stuff. But you're going to really remember the bus rides, the locker room, the dugouts before the game. Those are the things that you guys will sit around and talk about later on. So it's really cool to be able to watch you guys, grow up, have success, and we know that, you're going to be able to look back at your time at Huntington and be really proud of it. So that's really cool. So we appreciate you guys coming in. Wish you nothing but the best the rest of the way, and hopefully a long tournament run for the Huntsman softball program.
Bring those chants up tomorrow, Allie.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'll try.
We're gonna find out if you did. You're gonna ask Coach.
Okay, I will.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come back with Piketon softball coach Mark Blakeman. All right, welcome back. We are now joined by Piketon softball coach Mark Blakeman. 18-2 Lady Red Streaks, off to a really good season this year. 10-1 in the conference. Thanks for taking time out to be here tonight, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a fun season so far.
Absolutely, 18 wins out of 20 games. That's huge. I believe you guys are the number four
seed? Is that
Four
right?
seed, yes,
Four
four.
seed.
Yep.
In the tournament. Who did you guys end up drawing in that?
We have Oak Hill.
Oak Hill.
Yes.
Obviously a home game, I'm sure.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, that's good for the Red Streaks. You guys, again, we mentioned 18-2, 10-1, so 11. You got three league games left.
Yes, three
Okay.
league games.
Who
We
is
have
that?
we'll be at Paint Valley tomorrow. We're at Adena Thursday, and we finish up at home against St. Trace.
Okay, so 3 games, 3 days.
And then tournament game is following week, correct?
Yes, May 13th,
Gotcha.
Tuesday. Yes.
Tuesday the 3rd. I think everyone. I feel like
Yeah,
everyone
a week
talks-
from today.
Yeah,
Yep.
everyone's. Isn't it crazy how fast this? It even goes faster. I don't know about you, but like when you win,
Yeah.
it goes faster than it should. I feel like
You're
But,
right. Yeah.
Didn't give you time to enjoy it.
No.
Gotta get
no.
ready for the next one.
Yep. Right. Next one up.
But that's just kind of how spring sports goes. Coach, go ahead and kind of talk to us about your team and how they've arrived at 18-2 and 10-1 in the conference.
Okay, well, we started to, when we start practicing, before the season, we kind of talk team. We talk to the players a lot about team, being a team. Not one person can go out there and win the game, right? It takes all 9 players on the field and the others, the subs that's on the bench. It takes all 13. We have 13 players. So it takes all 13 players to actually achieve what we did. So we talk about not being selfish, being, team. We want to be we and not me. We focus on the we and not the me is basically what we try to do this year.
Yeah. A lot of times when you have really good teams means you have really good players, and that sometimes is hard to do. You know what I mean? If you have a lot of really good players and, they're really good for a reason, but
Yes.
once you can get them to buy into putting that that talent for the team, then it ends up special, like you guys are in the middle of right now.
Yes, I think you can have a lot of talent on a team, but if they're all individuals, you're not going to win a lot.
I don't know the makeup of your team, Coach. I if I'm not mistaken, it's you've got some seniors, you got some juniors, down to freshmen that are all major contributors. Is that correct? Kind of the makeup of your team?
Yeah, right now we have 3 sophomores to start, 3 freshmen, and 3 seniors. We have 0 juniors on the team, but we have a total of 5 seniors.
Gotcha.
And but everybody is part of this team, and they contribute in their own way.
Right.
And that's special too. If you can get, you didn't mention by name, but you have 2 seniors that don't start, but you put your team first, and guess what? They're on a team right now that's won 18 games and set themselves up for a league championship this season. So, it takes special people to make sure that happens.
Yes, and that's a tough decision when you have 2 seniors and they're not starting. I mean, that was a tough decision for me to make. But and they bought into it. They've been, and like you said, they're part of a really great team and something special. Hopefully that we're going to do. We're not finished yet.
Right. I mean, obviously, 3 games in 3 days, but just to this point, obviously, they've done the right things to put themselves in this position. Talk a little bit about some of your players that have, whether it be in the circle or at the plate, that have kind of led you guys this season.
Okay. Well, I want to start with our pitching because, our pitching gets overlooked a lot because we do have a really good offense. Our pitching starts with Sadie Childers. We have Addie Blakeman, and we have Kendall Carroll. So Sadie is a sophomore, Addie is a freshman, and Kendall's our senior. So I was just looking at stats the other day, and it was updated April 30th. And in ERA, which is, to me, is one of the most important stats for a pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you're not giving up a lot of earned runs.
Right.
So I was looking at the stats in the league, and we have 3 pitchers, and they are in the top 4 in ERA. So they're getting the job done. So I really wanted to talk about the pitchers to start with, because they have done a fantastic job this year. We go to our defense. Our defense is, again, really good. They make a lot of plays that's not routine. Sometimes they make it look routine. And then our hitting, we come together and we've hit well this year. I think when I checked out our team batting average, and that's everybody, that's counting, non-starters that get into to bat too. I mean, we're sitting at a 434 team average, and that's pretty high as a team.
And the one thing, Coach, that I've kind of followed softball this year, it seems like, within your team too, it's like you kind of hit the ball all over the field. You hit with power. You can, like you hit gaps. It's just like, you're not a small ball team, but you're not a power team. It's like you can kind of do a little bit of everything through your lineup.
Yes. Now, we do hit for power. We got Aubrey Heath leading the league with 11 home runs. And then we can play small ball. We have, the other night against Southeastern, the last inning we were down 1 run, and we actually bunted twice in a row and got some runners on base and end up winning the game, walking it off at the end of the game there with the bottom of 7. So we can do small ball, and we can hit the ball long too. So we have a good mix there, and it's been really fun this year.
Let me ask you this: does the train horn go off for a bunt, or is that just a dinger? Because I'm gonna tell you, the first time it went off at Yunioto, I was in the right field fence. And I think it was Aubrey's dad had that thing, and I didn't know about it, and I about had a heart attack.
Yeah, that's been usually it's when we hit a home run, it'll go off, and at the end of the game with a win, you'll hear it.
Yeah. So I was at your guys' game when you guys played Yunioto at home. And I heard Aubrey's dad walk away from the horn. Of course, he was sitting with some Yunioto fans that they must play together in the summer, and they were out there. Yeah. And he said, "Don't touch my horn when I'm gone." So I know that's a big part of the Red Streak program, is that training.
Yeah. He just brought that in this year.
Yeah.
This year he just introduced us to that. So well, it's been pretty fun.
Good year to break it out, I'd say. It's got a lot of use.
Yeah. Yeah. He might have to get a new one after this year.
Right. I don't know if that runs on a battery or
battery.
Yeah. Well, he probably needs a new one, I'd say. All the home runs you guys hit. So we mentioned what you guys have left in terms of the league. Talk a little bit about your tournament draw and kind of what that path looks like for you guys. Not to get ahead of what's happening, but obviously that's right around the corner.
Yeah, and we have Oak Hill, and if we win that game, we'll play the winner of Eastern Brown, North Adams, and then.
So that will be a 4-5 game, the second game. Will the 5 seed come?
No, they are an 11 seed.
Oh, okay. So then once you get to what used to be the district semis will be the 5 seed.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah. Right. Or no, Eastern Brown is a 6 seed. Okay. Yeah, I think there was a 6, and then we'll see in the district championship. If we get that far, we're looking at Ironton, Huntington, Zane Trace.
Okay.
That's a team that's going to be one of them will be meeting.
And obviously, you hate to play an SVC team for the third time, but at the same time, you're familiar with them and you kind of know what you have to do. So it's kind of like a catch-22. You don't want to do it, but it's not like you're playing someone you haven't seen before either.
Right. Yeah. And when you play somebody that you've seen in your league. There's an advantage because you know what they do. You've seen them versus an Ironton that we haven't seen.
Right.
So we don't know what to expect. From
right.
them. So it's kind of hard to prepare for somebody you don't
exactly.
see.
And it's not like I mean, I don't know how the world of softball works, but it's not like you get film on other teams, and it's not like you have time to go scout them either because you're playing every
Playing all
day.
the
It's
time,
just
yeah.
it's a tough thing to do. You just have to show up and play, I guess.
Yeah.
So, well, Coach, appreciate you taking the time to visit with us here tonight. And oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about that before you got off here.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
So it's TSSS.
Right.
Okay. So here's the story behind this. Okay. So halfway through the season, we're playing at home. Toward the end of the game, we're playing really well defensive wise. So one of the umpires stops me and says, "Hey, you guys are the best defense I've seen all year," and that includes another school. I'm not going to mention it because we're not. They're really good, and I'm not comparing us to them. This was his words, and he said that. He said, "Yeah, you're the best defense I've seen all year, including this school." And he said, "That's some smooth stuff."
Oh, there you go.
So I think we turned a couple double plays that game, 2 or 3. We did a lot. We actually.
That's
He
some smooth stuff.
he said that's some smooth stuff. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to incorporate this into T-shirts. So all the coaches and all the players have the TSSS shirt.
There we go.
Is that the undershirts? Is that you wear them as undershirts during the game or anything?
No,
Okay.
we haven't.
Pre-game?
We haven't. We haven't actually brought them out for a game yet.
Okay.
But
What are you saving
that
them
might
for?
happen.
What are we saving them
Tournament,
for?
maybe.
Tournament game.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm talking to your players before the show. We got a little extra something else for the tournament as well. They were talking. Maybe we'll have them talk about that.
Yep, you're right.
A lot of stuff coming up for the tournament
Yep.
for the Lady Red Shirts.
And before I leave, I got one more thing.
yeah.
Is this the last? Is this it for me?
In terms of what?
The interview.
Yeah, you can close it.
Yeah, you got it.
You
We
can
good?
close it.
Yeah.
All right, Coke, butter, cheese.
We'll be right back. welcome back. We're now joined with sophomores Aubrey Heath and Jalen Forbes from the Piketon softball program. You guys come in 18-2, 10-1. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So obviously, Coach threw us into commercial break there. It seems like these 18 wins have been huge, but you guys have a lot of fun while you're doing it. It sounds like. Kind of just talk about the makeup of your team and what goes into 18 wins and 10 wins in the league so far.
I think a lot of it's our energy. Our team, we have the best energy in the SVC league, like no doubt about it. We stay up the whole game. We pick each other up, and we're all happy for each other. Like, I'm just as happy for myself as I am for Jalen, and it just carries out throughout our team.
You got anything to add to that?
You got it.
Okay, you covered it all. I mean, and that's huge. Like, when we were just talking to Coach, you guys have a lot of really talented players, and sometimes, that doesn't always translate into winning. You want you to succeed because you put so much time into it, but at the same time, maybe baseball and softball is a game of failure. Fail 6 or 7 out of 10 times. You might not have it that night. So if you're up for your teammate and your teammate kind of carries you, that's huge, and that usually translates to a lot of wins. So
That's what happens during a lot of games.
yeah,
One of us would get down, and the other person's there already picking each other up.
Yeah.
And everything. So.
yeah, that's huge.
No, I think it's so important to hear you guys talk about. As a coach, it's one thing I've always said is you've got to want more for your teammate than you want for yourself, and with that attitude, I think that kind of separates good teams to great teams. When you guys can do that, and obviously your record speaks for itself. So obviously you guys are kind of what you're preaching is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So.
What you guys just sophomores, obviously, still 2 more years left. Kind of just talk about the transition from you guys had a solid year last year from last year to this year. Just 1 year's difference, and all the success you guys are having.
We're definitely going to have to work harder for next year because I know a lot of our seniors are leaving, and they're kind of good seniors. So.
Yeah, they are.
And so we're going to definitely have to work harder for the spot that we have. And the upcoming freshmen, they know. I think I've been to a couple games, and I know what we have, so it should be good when they come up.
So, like, you guys are kind of just building on this. I don't remember. I think I saw somewhere where you had 17 wins last year, maybe. You're already at 18 this year. Like, what do you think has to happen, kind of to end this season into next year to maybe to gain some momentum for next year and build on what you guys have already done your first 2 years of high school?
We just need to keep putting in the work as a team, keep playing as a team, and just keep coming in with confidence. Just go into the game knowing we're the best team, we're the best players here. Confidence is a huge part of our game. Yeah. Like, you walk in with confidence. You
I agree.
think you're going to win, you're going to win.
Give yourself a way better chance than you would if you're doubting yourself.
And have that
Right.
team mentality.
Right. You guys, Coach talked a little bit about your 3 games in 3 days. Obviously, hopefully, if the weather cooperates, it's supposed to. And then the tournament next Tuesday. As the season comes to a close, what do you guys, has your mindset changed at all, or is it kind of still stayed the same this whole time? Or you, like, is the focus a little bit more as next Tuesday comes, if you don't show up to play, you're done.
Yeah.
So kind of talk about that.
We definitely need to come with energy. Energy is a huge thing about everything.
One
But I
game at a
think-
time.
Yeah, especially
One
that.
game at a time.
Yeah, but I think everything's still the same as long as we come as a team and have that energy that we have every game.
Aubrey, I know you're leading the league with 11 home runs. Talk to us a little bit about kind of your approach at the plate.
Going to the plate, I don't just go up there and like try and hit home runs. Like, I tell myself, base hit, swing if it's close. That's what I'm thinking every at bat. Just base hit, swing if it's close. And if it goes over, it goes over. Because I know I just have to produce hits for my team. That's way more important than home runs every
So
at bat.
you're thinking more just get on base, get something started, and good things happen with that approach. That's a good way to take it. What about you? What's your approach at the plate?
If it's there, swing at it.
Aggressive?
Yeah.
So an aggressive? Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that go on with your guys' team. All right, because in the break we've learned a little bit. So
We've actually learned a lot.
yeah, so we'll give you guys a chance here to kind of hit on some of these hot topics that you've introduced us to.
But
So.
before you start, you guys still are the Red Streaks, or you have a totally no
we're
mask?
we're still the Red Streaks.
Okay.
We got a mascot that's not a Red Streak, but
Go ahead.
Let's start with that. Let's start with the mascot.
it's Coke Butter Cheese. Jalen can explain it.
Okay,
If I need to go
so
further in.
Coke butter cheese. I played for a travel team a couple years ago, and there's this girl on it, and we'd ask her how the pitch looked, and she goes Coke butter cheese. So pitches right down the middle, perfect speed. It's gone. So then, one I don't even know was it at practice.
No, it was at the Rock. One of our
A
first
scrimmage.
scrimmage. It was at
And
Rock
I
Hill.
came, and I think Aubrey is the one who asked me. She's like, "Jalen, how's the pitcher?" Or, no, because you hit before.
No, I was like, you said
don't even- I don't
she
even
said
know.
Coke Butter Cheese,
I
and
don't
after that,
know.
I was like, that is the best thing I've ever heard in my whole
Yeah.
life.
She's like,
So that's
"Louise
all
is
I
next."
said the rest of the season.
And
So 11 home runs is accredited
It's
to Coke
Coke
Butter
Oh
Cheese.
yeah, that's
And
the
then-
reason we do
so
what we
then
do.
we were gonna get a hermit crab.
Because we saw LSU had a fish.
Yeah. So let's get a hermit crab.
Yeah.
And then
Went to Petland, couldn't get the hermit crab, got a fish. We spent like about a week. We were like, what are we gonna name this thing? And the only thing we could name it was Coke Butter Cheese.
So his first name's Cokes, middle name's
Butter,
and then
last name's
cheese.
cheese.
And that.
Yeah, we got a carrier for it. It goes to all the games.
So
As long as
where
it's
is
well
Coke
Who
butter
feeds
cheese?
it?
It's
Like,
Coke
where is it?
butter
Where
cheese.
is
Where's
it
it
right
at
now?
during the game?
So Reese
Shanks.
our center fielder, she has an aunt that lives in Piketon, right by our school,
Mm-hmm.
and we go there every day after school before the games. And
Is she
it
the lady that was driving the big the 4-wheeler type thing back and forth? Like I felt like when I was
No,
there.
I think that's our athletic trainer, but she does ride in the golf
Okay.
cart. They take the golf cart to the games.
But it sits right on her kitchen table, so we can just go there, grab it,
You can
and
grab it and go.
So where's it sit during the game? Is it on the bench?
It goes on the bench. Sometimes we hold it.
Okay.
Just
if we hit a home run,
Oh,
we take it out.
yeah.
You have to kiss it.
Yeah.
Does it travel?
oh yeah, it went to
Um,
Westfall.
It spilled all over Westfall's bus. And the water's kind of dirty right now. We have to clean
Like
it.
who's in charge of that? Who takes care
Reese,
of?
but
We all kind of carry it.
yeah,
Mainly Reese, though.
yeah, Reese
She kinda-
carries it, but sometimes we have to help out with
We
the
all,
water.
I feed it sometimes. On the
he does sometimes.
That's good. You want to keep it alive.
Oh yeah. It's. I mean, I don't know what.
What
where
type
we'd be
of
without
fish
it.
is it? I
It's a
don't think-
beta fish. It's
But-
red
Okay,
too for
but
Piketon.
I also have a beta fish at my house,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of a bad fish mom, and it's still alive. It's been alive for a year and a half.
But
So I think this will last until probably next year. So we might have the same
Next year.
fish.
You
So-
can't. You
4
can't.
years.
You can't get it all the way through high school.
oh
You
no,
can't-
we're shooting to get it all the way through high school, and if
But-
it survives, we're passing it on. But it's Coke Butter Cheese the first.
Right.
Oh,
so
okay.
so it's
we're
kind
gonna
of like Uga, like Georgia's
So-
bulldog.
Yeah.
If something were to happen, it'd be Coke Butter Cheese the second, third,
Yeah.
fourth. Fifth.
That's good.
Okay.
You know.
But I don't think we tell anybody if it died. But
Yeah.
we would know.
Yeah, we would know. Nobody knows.
So the other thing you guys talked about was you guys said that energy. You guys are really energetic.
Oh yeah.
So I'm assuming dugout is a.
Oh yeah, it's hype.
It's hype?
It's the place
We
to
say-
be.
Who's the leader in the dugout?
We
It is.
You too?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What happens when you guys are on base? Then what?
Oh,
Well-
we still bring it into the dugout.
Yeah.
When we get on base, we get our double cellies or triple cellies. Like we're with it.
Sellies.
Yeah.
What's
You guys
don't
need
know
to
what
help
a
us.
celebration?
Yeah.
Yeah, like your double
I got it.
celly.
No, we didn't have double cellies when I played,
Mm-mm.
or triple cellies.
You guys are
What about
missing
single
out.
cellies?
Oh
Nothing?
yeah,
Sorta. We don't
sometimes
really-
if it's like a good single,
Yeah.
like you'll have a single celly.
And then
What
on
about
home runs, the air horn takes over.
Yeah, home runs, everyone
And
takes
the-
over. We go
The fish comes out.
The fish comes
Yeah.
out.
That-
The
that's
bomb
the
squad
fight.
chain.
Yeah.
I'm
we
thinking,
have a
I'm
chain,
thinking
we
we've
have a
got
chain,
like
too.
YouTube movie
I
material.
don't know why
You
this
what I
isn't like being videoed.
I mean, we have videos. Just don't get out.
And then we've got the T-shirts that we haven't.
Oh, yeah, TSS.
This is the first time that these have been worn. Is this
No, I mean we've worn them at school,
Yeah.
but we haven't worn them to like a game or anything.
what's holding you back?
We just
I don't
haven't
know.
made them.
You know what? We're saving it for tournaments.
There you go.
Tournament.
Oh,
Anything else planned for the tournament?
I think
Coke
we
butter
might,
cheese, train horn, bomb chain,
we might get some
fish.
tattoos.
You might get some of those press-on water tattoos. You know. They're gonna.
They don't know
We
what's
walk out. We walk out on the field. They're gonna be scared. They're gonna be like.
Is Coach he thinking about getting a
Okay.
tattoo
Oh,
as well?
I mean, we asked him, and he didn't say no.
Okay.
So
Maybe Coach has real ones.
Maybe. Oh no, he don't got no real ones.
No?
He's saying
No.
no. He's saying no.
Maybe we
It
can.
looks like you have a real one. Is that
It's fake.
that's not real?
No, it's fake.
Maybe
I've got it.
Coach will go like, hey, we get to the district finals.
Yes.
Maybe.
Win a
We'll-
district title.
And we'll
Coach
get.
gets
We'll get.
tattooed.
I'll get a tattoo of him on my arm.
There you go.
That's what we'll
There
do.
you go.
This is being recorded, so this is all, you can't take this back now.
All right.
All right. Well, obviously we appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you.
Been a lot of fun. We've learned
Learned a
some
lot.
things. If you haven't been out to watch Piketon softball play, the play on the field's outstanding. It sounds like the dugout's fun too. So
We'll put on a show.
hopefully you guys will make a long tournament run, and a lot of people will get to see it. So we appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We'll come back with Wheelersburg softball coach, Coach Ruby. Welcome back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Show. Joining us now is Wheelersburg legendary softball coach Teresa Ruby. Coach, you out there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Coach. Good to talk to you again. Talked to you earlier in the season before it got going on our preview show, and now we're at the end of the season. I feel like we just blinked and then it just happened. So talk to us a little bit about your year. Yeah, talk to us about the Lady Pirates and how your season's gone so far.
We're sitting at 17-0. We have clinched the SOC, and we are top seed in our district this year. So that's where we're at right now.
Well, I don't even know why I asked you that question. I knew that was going to be your answer, but anyway,
That's all right.
you guys. Sounds like you guys had a game tonight against Ironton. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we won 10-0 in 5 innings, and it was good to get back out because it's been about a week since we've been able to play with the weather being what it's like, and so it seemed like it'd been forever since we played a game. But yeah, we went up to Ironton. I was real happy with the way we hit the ball. Kaylin Carter pitched a great game. I haven't had a chance to look at the book, but I think maybe a 3-hitter. So played some good defense too. I was happy with our performance tonight.
Coach, you just mentioned the weather and not having games, here for a few days in a row. In those situations, are you guys, are you getting indoors like on those rainouts and getting some swings in, or what's that look like for your team when cancellations?
Yeah, we had had like 2 straight weeks where we had played like 8 or 9 games in like 12 days. So, at first, we take a day or 2 off, and then we'll get back inside and we'll get our swings in. We've got an indoor facility here that we're able to use, and so we use it as much as we can. And then of course we had prom weekend just this past weekend, so we didn't get to do too much around prom weekend.
Yeah, coaching girls, coaching girls prom weekend. That's a 3-day event.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not prom weekend; it's prom week. That's a lot. So, Coach, you guys number 1 seed in the tournament coming up next week. Assuming you guys will have to wait to play the winner of someone.
Yes, we are playing the winner of Rock Hill, and what is it? I think it's the winner of Rock Hill and somebody. It's at Rock Hill.
Gotcha.
New Lex.
There we go.
Yes,
there
Rock Hill and New Lex. Sorry.
Thank goodness for consistent coaches, huh?
It is, and it's I do what I preach, and that's when one game at a time.
Absolutely.
So I haven't gotten that far ahead.
Absolutely.
There you go. What's the rest of the week look like for you guys?
We are off tomorrow, and then we have Waverly on Thursday and South Webster on Friday to finish our league play.
Home or away?
And that finishes. We are home both nights.
There you
Friday
go.
night, senior night. Yeah.
And then the tournament starts the next week. When will your guys' first tournament game? Later the next week, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's later than that. I think it's the 19th. We've got two games next week. We're going to hook up with Jackson and play a game, and then we've got Boyd County. We're at Boyd County one day next week.
That's good.
So two solid games.
Right, 2 good games.
Yeah.
Prepare you for the tournament. What is your girls' your mindset as this season comes to a close? Like obviously 17-0, that says a lot, and you guys have to be happy with the way you're playing. But kind of what's the mindset of the team? Are they still, have that hunger, that fight, that focus that they need to have even after 17 straight wins?
Yeah, I think they're hungry after the season ended the way it did last year. Didn't end the way we envisioned it to end, and they're hungry to get back into the tournament and kind of get some retribution from that. But I think last year we maybe took a few things for granted, and this year we're not. So I'm real happy with where they're at right now.
I know, Coach, you mentioned senior night here at the end of this week. How many seniors?
Yes.
How many seniors do you have on your roster this year?
4. We got 4 seniors. Yes, so Kaylin Carter, Katie Boggs, Emma Smith, and Lakin Wright.
Gotcha.
Good group, very good group. They've been a part of 2 state championships, and a couple of them were a part of the World Series team that won.
So a lot of success over their career, and I'm sure a lot more success for some of them, coming up after high school. So, Coach, kind of just talk about what you guys do in terms of, you say you're playing a couple games next week. What will you guys change anything in terms of your practice heading into the tournament, or will you just keep it the same approach as you've had all season?
We do have a routine. We have things that we do that we call everydays, and we'll still do those. But we've had some things happen, and that's what we'll start to work on is breaking down execution and fine tuning some things that we haven't had time to work on during the season, because you're just back to back to back, and you don't get a chance to work on those things once the season starts. So yeah, we'll do our everydays, but then we'll hope to just work on those situations and make sure that kids, know what we want to do and how we're executing things in different situations.
Coach, if you just to the average fan who hasn't watched the Lady Pirates this year, if you kind of had to give them a synopsis of your team, strengths, how would you kind of describe this year's team?
I think defensively we're about as solid as they get. I think we take a lot of hits away from folks, and Kaylin, Kaylin Carter's a senior. She's been our number one this year, and I think she's gone away from being a thrower to a pitcher. She has really stepped up her game this year to just to put a thought process into every at bat, and very pleased with her. And then I think for us, we can play small ball, or we can hit the long ball. We've had, I think, 9 different players hit home runs, and we're capable of that throughout the lineup. So, I think we're a smart ball club. When I say that, you just can't take that for granted. And I think these kids know the game, and they're smart, and they make our coaches' job easy.
Yeah, and with those things you've just mentioned, obviously that is probably why you're sitting there at 17-0 as well.
Yeah. Yes. It does. It just makes our job a whole lot easier.
Yeah. And you mentioned there too, Coach. It felt like you played 17 games, and you said you played 8 or 9 games in a 12. So basically, you played half your season in 12 days.
Yeah, which we did.
It's hard to believe, but. Hopefully now, I'm hoping that this is the last of this weather that we've had, and you guys can get some more consistent, not just games, but practice and some time to prepare as the tournament gets ready to start next week. So we really appreciate you calling in, Coach. Always look forward to talking to you, and wish you guys good luck as you finish up the SOC season this week and into the tournaments next week.
All right. We appreciate it. Always fun to talk to you guys, and appreciate the support you give our kids. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
You too. Well, we've covered a lot of things tonight. We've had baseball in here. We've had 2 softball teams in here. We've covered a lot of different things. We talked to Coach Ruby, who is unbelievable. She's talking about multiple state championships and
and World Series.
Yeah, and the kids that have won World Series. We talked about we got a team that has a pet fish. It's been interesting. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back here on the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Show. Joining us now on the phone is South Webster baseball coach Ryan McClintock. Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you calling in. Obviously, an outstanding season for South Webster. Talk to us a little bit about your season.
Yeah, we're in the SOC 3, and, we're the smallest school in there, just like we normally are every single year. And we had a good start to the season by sweeping White Oak at home in a doubleheader, a D7 opponent, and just kind of got rolling from there by beating Waverly the first week and then Valley. And, we've just been a really consistent team throughout the year. We've had a couple times where we've kind of fell off, but these guys have just got right back on, and, they never get too high, never get too low. And I think that's what served us well.
And I think, you just said it. I think that's the most important thing with baseball is you can't be too high and you can't be too low, because the entire game can change on the next pitch. And then, then you got a whole other set of emotions that you have to deal with. So being able to kind of stay that steady stream is really important. You guys had a game tonight from what Christian is telling me. Talk to us a little bit about that game.
Yeah, we played over at Wheelersburg tonight, and, always a tough opponent. And just like, last time we played them here, we knew it was going to be a tight game. It was going to come down to whoever did the little things. And like we just talked about, handled any little bit of adversity in the game. And our kids did that. Benai Andrews threw a complete game, 2 hits, 2 walks. He trusted his defense. And, we were able to just put ourselves in position to get a run in, and we were able to execute.
And if I'm not mistaken, Coach, that wrapped up the SOC for you guys. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Wow, congratulations.
Congratulations, Coach.
Yeah, so Christian's giving me all the info on this right now, kind of as we speak. First time in 44 years that South Webster is the SOC champ. So that's huge. Congratulations.
Yes, I appreciate it. And I think the year we won it, 1981, it was maybe the second year we were in the SOC. There was, I believe, 2 divisions, and we were in the smaller one. So now with it being 3 divisions, and it's a great accomplishment for our team. That's for sure.
Hey, Coach, obviously we've got tournament draw coming up here, Sunday, I think things are released. What are you looking at as far as tournament-wise, kind of expectations, maybe what your seed's looking like?
Yeah, our bios are due tomorrow night, and then we'll vote between Thursday and Friday evening. So, every year, this is my 12th year doing this here, and every year I try to explain to the other voters in Division 7 that, our schedule is just so tough. A lot like a team like Paint Valley in the SVC, who plays, Zane Trace and Yunioto and all them, that, our record is typically not, telling of how good of a team we are and how competitive we are at D7. This is probably the first year that we've ever went into the draw, or maybe the second in my 12 years that we've had a winning record, and we've never had, a resume like we have this year. So, sometimes I hesitate to say it, but I think we're a 1 seed. I think we're a 1 seed. I think that's where we are. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think we should be.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Obviously winning that conference and I think now that we've gone to 7 divisions, I think that's huge for schools like you, that you're going to be able to really, I think, do a lot of damage in terms of the tournament play. I know you mentioned Paint Valley earlier, talking to Coach Combs over there. He kind of talks about typically how his regular season is preparing them for a tournament run because of the tough league competition that they play. So talk a little bit about how your guys are feeling after being able to get something like that done and carrying some of this momentum into the tournament.
Well, exactly like Coach Combs said, we've always kind of looked at our league as, hey, this is preparation for the tournament. One thing we've always said is, you're probably not going to face a team of the caliber of the top teams in our league until district finals or regional. And, guys have heard that from me for multiple years. We're a veteran team. So knowing that we're not only facing those, that type of competition, but we're able to win
right
those games and these, very hostile environments with things on the line, I think that just gives us even more of a boost. We're always confident. We know, what kind of team we are. And, I think guys are hungry. This is one of those things, winning the league, we want it to be and win the league when it's all said and done. But we're kind of glad to get this over with tonight and set our eyes on the Division 7 tournament. So, yeah, we've definitely got some momentum heading in there and hoping to keep that up in the next 2 weeks before the first round.
What do you have left, Coach, in between now and tournament time as far as schedule is concerned?
We got another game this week. So far, that's scheduled. We had some moving around for some teams that had a makeup league.
Right.
But we got a Racing Southern, another D7 opponent, very good team on Friday. So we're excited about that. Next week we have Clay, another D7 opponent. We have Greenup County, Kentucky, who's always a very very good team,
baseball school there. Yep.
Absolutely. And then we have actually an SVC. We have Southeastern Ross next Friday. So I'm sure we'll pick up some here and there. We're kind of looking at, what we need to do to stay ready and keep the bats, and seeing live pitching before tournament.
Right,
so,
right.
we got a little bit more time this year, especially from the first round to the second round. So just trying to make sure we place games in there to keep guys, kind of functioning normal.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we're glad that we were able to get a hold of you and talk to you tonight. And congratulations again on a huge accomplishment. And we look forward to that and part of your season as you guys head into the tournament. And, just wish you guys the best of luck.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me, and thank you guys for the coverage and everything you guys do.
All right.
We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Coach.
Coach.
Hey, thank you.
Well, I think, that's going to wrap up our show for tonight. I thought, again, like we mentioned earlier, it was a wide range. We started with baseball. We ended with baseball, softball in the middle with a lot of different interesting takes on the game of softball. But
talk to several programs right now that I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of the people we've talked to, the teams we've talked to make nice tournament runs here in a few weeks. So
yeah, I mean it was a good show, and I think it was a lot of fun. Thanks for filling in for Jeran. Always good to have you on here.
I'm not a rookie anymore. I'm now a veteran.
Veteran.
Yeah,
so. That's why you showed up a little later today. Nah, but in all seriousness, appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks to Christian Spradlin for all he does over there, and Jeff Miller for filling in for Jeran Cox tonight. And we'll see you guys all next Tuesday.